That was Def Shepherd and Gene Carignan from their album Synergy, released in 1998, and they'll be appearing at St Bride's Acoustic Centre, venue 123, on the 13th, 15th and 17th of August. It's the festival, the Edinburgh Festival, episode 66 of the Garden Sessions, gardensessions.co.uk, contact us at podcast@gardensessions.co.uk. We're all very, very jovial. It seems like we've been here before. Welcome along anyway. We're also available at 98.8 in the Edinburgh area, Leith FM, where Leith lives. I'm Jack Foster, and joining me as ever, the hook, line and sinker of the Scottish folk scene. I'm talking, of course, of Frank Burkitt, Chris Silver, and Dave the Angles Gimble.
Well, we're in the Pleasance Courtyard, as Jack said. It's a sunny day. We're just catching some shade underneath a big tree here. The sun's that strong.
Just taking in some of the festival.
We are, really. We're basically lapping it up. It's in its first week. It's well and truly off and underway. And there's lots coming up on this show. We've got all the usuals for you. We've got the download chart and the angle and the letters bag. We've also got a fistful of festival reports.
That's exciting. Before we go into those, Frank, Dave, give us a hint on your angle.
Well, I thought, seeing as these festival shows are always so upbeat and jovial, I'd bring it down a tad with an angle in which 9 people die.
Well, we can always rely on you, Dave, to do that. That's exciting. Silver, how are you finding the festival thus far?
Well, it's okay, to be honest. But to be perfectly honest, what we are here to do for you listeners sitting there at home comfortably in your nice sofa or wherever you are, what we're here to do is distill the festival down to the best folk music available. And we're going to launch right into that now with Frank, who went along to see Mick.
No, well, not quite yet. Frank's going to tell us what's coming up in the show in the way of festival reports. But hold that thought, Silver.
Easy, Silver. You know. But what's coming up? We've got, as Silver's about to introduce, a report from Festival Folk at the Oak with Mick West and Frank McLaughlin. We've got David Ferrard, Folk Roots and Offshoots. We also have Tom McConville, who was there last Wednesday. And we also have a report from a very special boat on a very special canal, which was the launch of the Royal Oak Best of Folk album. So a lot, basically.
Yes, well, I'm now going to introduce Mick West and Frank McLaughlin, who Frank went to see a couple of days ago at the Royal Oak.
Here's the health, the yore and my king, to the monarch of our liking, and to Sarsfield underneath whose flag we'll cast once more a chance. For the morning dawn will bring us across the seas and bring us to take our stand and wield a brand among the sons of France. And though we part in sorrow, still shanna year a cara. Our cry is God save Ireland, and pour blessings on her name. May her sons be true and needed, may they never feel as we did. But shanna ye a glenner we were worsted in the gate.
It's the 2nd of August, Festival Folk at the Oak, an absolutely fantastic gig. Mick West joins me now. Mick, how do you feel tonight went?
It's always good in the Royal Oak, as you know yourself. It's a great atmosphere. It's a small gig, but that makes it all the better for that, because you're right up and close and personal with everybody, you know.
What's your relationship with the Oak? Have you been here a few times before? You must have performed here before, have you?
Sure, yeah. We've been here several times. It's kind of like almost like a wee home gig, you know, because of the size of the place, it's like your living room. So you really enjoy coming here year after year. You know, it's a great place to come.
In your set there, you mentioned obviously a lot of songs were about the Jacobites, for example, and obviously a lot of songs were from the West, you know, Glasgow and Ireland, which is obviously where you're from. Did you take a lot of inspiration from the indigenous music of the West?
Definitely. I'm a complete mongrel. I'm a sort of Scottish-Irish descent, so it would be churlish not to accept that and sing songs from these traditions, you know, so we do as much Irish stuff as we do Scottish stuff, and yeah, that's what we're up to.
Frank McLaughlin, who accompanied you tonight, and who was an absolute demon on the guitar, it would seem. What's the history between you guys? How long have you known Frank?
I've known Frank since just after the Scottish Parliament was formed, because we met to record a CD of songs celebrating Scottish nationalism. Well, not nationalism, but Scottish culture, and we were sort of thrown together one afternoon in a recording studio, and it was kind of like just sort of we totally loved what each other was doing, and we've played together ever since. So it's a long time now.
And what's lined up for Mick West and whether it be Frank or whoever it is you're playing with? What's lined up for you guys in the future?
Yeah, well, we're doing a few festivals down in Yorkshire, and we're going over to Berlin to play a Norwegian lutefisk.
Berlin, Norwegian in Berlin. Yes?
Yeah, it's a bit weird, isn't it? Yeah. But we met some very good friends that are Norwegian, and the Norwegian community in Berlin have this festival every year, and they always invite someone that they think will get the evening going well with lots of good songs. So we are the guests this year at that, so we're looking forward to that.
Fantastic, that sounds awesome. And do you have any pics of the festival at all?
Well, definitely next Saturday, Frank is going to be here with his partner Gillian MacDonald, who is a lovely, lovely singer and a very fine whistle player as well, and guitarist. So I can highly recommend that one. That's going to be a real cracker. I believe it's almost sold out, so people will need to get their tickets quick.
Well, take Mick's advice there, get your tickets quick. Well, thank you very much, Mick West, for joining us on the Garden Sessions. It was an absolutely superb concert tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Absolutely enjoyed it. Thanks for coming along.
Mick West and Frank McLaughlin at Festival Folk at the Oak. Frank met up with Mick West the other day. That was a pounding report.
Oh, it was really, really good actually. I was quite drunk after
You did sound it.
consuming a lot of Guinness on the canal boat earlier on in the day, but it was an absolutely fantastic gig, and what a guitarist Frank McLaughlin, and what a singer Mick West.
And that canal boat thing is something you'll be hearing later on the launch of the Royal Oak album. The song you heard in that report there was Shana Yurakara, and Mick's top pick for the festival, Gillian MacDonald and Frank McLaughlin, is at Festival Folk at the Oak, venue 309 on Saturday the 9th of August.
I'm looking around the courtyard and I'm seeing a lot of, there should be folk music going on throughout the day here. I think that the Pleasance should incorporate some kind of open folky stage.
There's not enough folk, Frank. That is what I'm thinking. There just isn't enough folk.
This is why we're here. We're trying to bring some of that to the Pleasance.
Indeed. Dave, I think we're going to move to the Spiegel Garden, which is just up the road, though, where we're going to do the folky news and the top 10 and so on.
Lots more music going on at the Spiegel Garden, some fantastic stuff. Sugar Nifty, playing Orchestra del Sol, all that kind of thing. It's going to be good in the Spiegel, I think, for the rest of the festival.
Well, Frank, before we head off, I'll let you introduce the news.
Well, it's news. It's folk.
What is it, Frank?
It's the folky news. And the folky news brought to you this week by Paddy's Festival Folk at the Oak.
Festival Folk at the Oak continues in the second week of those 36 nights with the Folkies on Tuesday the 5th of August. Jim Malcolm, the very Jim Malcolm, on Wednesday the 6th of August. That should be great, an intimate venue like this. And then Bellevue Rendezvous on the 7th of August. Alistair Hewlett and Phil Snell on the 8th of August. Gillian MacDonald and Frank McLaughlin nearly sold out already on Saturday the 9th. And Tom Cleland on the 10th, Ian Bruce on the 11th.
So we've moved to the Spiegel tent for the news now, and while I fend off very willing waitresses trying to offer me pints, I will now read you the top story, which is the Royal Oak Best of Folk album was launched officially at the weekend with a special concert cum session on board the Reunion barge as it sailed the Union Canal. Many familiar Oak faces were present, and Dave caught up with Callum Wood of Magic Park Records, whose brainchild the album was, and asked him how he felt the project had been received.
I'm loving it. We're sailing down the canal. I've never ever been in the canal boat before, but I don't think it's going to be the last time.
We've got some fantastic musicians on the boat with us. Looking forward to some great music over the course of the afternoon. What do you think has been particularly successful about the album?
I just think it's been documenting what the Royal Oak's been doing so well for its 30-40 years of existence. I think it's brought everyone together, and it's been a mixture of everybody plays there week in, week out, and the people have kind of cut their teeth at the Royal Oak, so it's a bit of a combination of that.
I think it's about time as well. There's not been a Royal Oak CD so far. What was it that made you decide to give yourself a quick kick in the backside, or whatever it was that created the album?
Well, I first came in, it must have been about three and a half years ago, and I saw Ross Galloway, and I was just amazed the fact I was sitting there in a room with about 10 people and listening to this amazing artist, and I was doing a course in music production at the time, so I had him up the next week and I was recording all his stuff, and I recorded about 15 tracks and just gave them to him, and I came in after that lots of times and I just realised that, you know, all the musicians are of that calibre, and I thought there has to be an album bringing all these people together, so that's kind of what spurred me on to do it. And once I started it, I became obsessed with it, and I just didn't stop doing it, you know.
Obviously, a few artists off the CD couldn't make it. Neil Thompson late again, as always, probably running to catch up with the boat as we left off.
No doubt.
But as I say, we've got a great group with us. I think we'll listen to a bit of the music just now.
Well, I'm gutted that Neil couldn't make it, actually, because he's the one that sings the Union Canal song.
This is true.
It would have been very, very appropriate, but there you go.
It was a fantastic day out, as you'll hear a bit later on.
It was.
But the Royal Oak Best of Folk album is available to buy, of course, behind the bar at the Royal Oak, and in all good record stores, as well as in the Bothy shop at gardensessions.co.uk. And we'll be bringing you a special report from that adventure later on, and you'll see just how crazy it got. But finally, folks, John Martin has cancelled his gig on the 14th of August at the Liquid Rooms. The Troubled Star was unfortunately unavailable for comment, but we'll bring you more information on that as and when we get it. That's a shame for all you John Martin fans.
It is.
To keep up to date with all the latest folky news at gardensessions.co.uk/news. That's the folky news. Give me a jingle worthy of the festival.
And yes, it may be the festival, we may be out and about, but that will not stop Dave. He's still got all these statistics there. It's time.
The official Garden Sessions download chart. The official Garden Sessions download chart.
That's right, I've brought a full band with me to do the music.
Where is that music coming from?
It's coming from my backpack, where I have a group of miniature people with fiddles.
No, it's not, Dave.
This is the official Garden Sessions download chart based on free downloads from gardensessions.co.uk. Very exciting this week.
No, thank you. I don't want an orange juice. Thank you.
Wait, we're trying to do a chart. We've got 6 new entries from our fantastic
Someone's trying to promote a show.
Music.
Quick.
At 10, it's down 5. Carolyn and Ona Scott far ahead, going home. At 9, it's a new entry for David Ferrard. One hell of a ride. You'll be getting a bit more from David later.
Can I just ask, Dave, are you doing your bit in recycling all the flyers you've been handed?
I am, yes. Making sure I do, because there's lots of them. At 8, it's a re-entry. Jim Malcolm and Lochenside.
And the heron he comes a-creeping through the rashes to green and dreeping to the pool, while a wily through the slide out in the Lochenside. If you ever had reason to be here, and none season, come and try the Ballybrian round the fire on Lochenside.
At 7, it's a new entry from Alan Still with Contrary Soul. At 6, another new entry, Kareem Polwart, Maid of the Loch.
Yes.
At 5, a re-entry, Frank Burkitt with Murphy.
Oh, yes.
Sing up, Murphy, my man. Stick around for as long as you can. Sing up, Murphy, my man. The young and the old want a shake of your hand. Murphy, my man. Murphy, my man. Murphy, my man.
Dave, I've got a really great flyer here for
was a great
contemporary dance company. Do you fancy going along to this at some point?
It looks good.
Take on a bit of a contemporary dance in the Spiegel.
Burlesque here at the Spiegel. Yeah, no, get yourself in,
Take
Dave.
on a
Come
wee bit
on.
of that.
They're big on the burlesque here.
Yep. At 4, it's another new entry for Alan Still. Anya Maria, Turn the Page. At 3, down 2. Ooh.
Does that mean the number one's gone? Oh, it is. Oh,
No longer Frank Burkitt and Wood.
Easy, family show, Frank.
At 2, it's another new entry, Anna MacDonald and He Knows. And the official Garden Sessions number 1, another new entry for Anna MacDonald, You Held Out Your Hand.
What a tune.
Held out your hand to me and I me, but I smile and turn away. The sun paints the road so gold. She casts no shadows there, and darkness cannot break her sphere. She is my lady of the road. You promised me a gold ring with diamonds. You promised me 10 fleets for the sea. You promised me fine horses and courage, but like the wind I move light and free. You held out your hand to me and I kiss it and turn away, believing before the tears touch my lips. My lady lights the way, and somehow my feet move under me. But damn, I miss that man on the road. He promised me a gold ring with diamonds. He promised me 10 fleets for the sea. He promised me fine horses and courage, but his gold, it meant nothing to me. And like the wind I move light and free.
I think she might be there for a while, folks. That was Anna MacDonald with You Held Out Your Hand. Lovely stuff there.
And I just say as well, should have mentioned it before, if you want to have your say in the chart and affect who's at the number one, go to www.gardensession/music for all the free downloads.
Silver, you were talking.
I was. In fact, I was actually just about to hand over to Dave there. Dave, would you like to tell us what's in the show?
Still to come on the show, we've got some more of our fantastic festival reports. We've got Tom McConville, we've got David Ferrard coming up, and we've got that gold dust report from the canal boat, the folk boat.
An amazing day. I was hammered.
Dave, you gave us a hint on your angle. You said 9 people died. What else have you got for us?
Someone tries to invade somebody else's house.
This sounds like a really nice angle. This sounds lovely.
I'm picturing some kind of siege, maybe, like a castle. If it's 9 people, that's a lot of people to die. Big house.
Somewhere still to come. Yes, anyway, well, let's go over now to the Royal Oak, where Carolina Nona Scott has snagged us a Geordie.
I'm in the downstairs lounge of the Royal Oak with Tom McConville, who's just finished playing a fantastic gig. The Royal Oak's quite a small venue. How do you find playing these small little venues?
Oh, lovely. It's the best, really. Yeah, I do all sorts of venues, you know. I just did the Sage in Gateshead, you know, when there was 400 people, and it was lovely. And then a festival in front of 800. But coming in here is the best place, you know. You learn the most, and I just love it. And I think it's a privilege, really. I've been on the road for 38 years now, but I love people and I love playing for people.
You've been playing a lot with Claire Mann and Aaron Jones. We saw you at the Pleasance earlier on this year. Can we see the three of you again coming back to Edinburgh soon?
Yeah, sure. I'm doing a tour with Claire, and Aaron couldn't do it next February, March. But we'll be playing again at 3. I mean, we're using somebody else because Aaron's going with the Old Blind Dogs to America because he's very much in demand. So is Claire. So we get together when we can. It's an ongoing thing, you know, and we do a lot of festivals and stuff. I've known them a long time, and they're pals.
Will you be taking in any more of the folk at the Fringe this year?
Well, unfortunately, I'm on a wee tour and I've got to nip down and do a gig in Newcastle. I might get back up for it, like, you know. But I've been up here a couple of days and I've been doing some teaching. One of the things I teach is performance, you know, Alexander technique with performance, how to relax and play. And the best thing is being on your own to learn that, I think. And I'm from a time when there was millions of gigs, little gigs, at folk clubs, there was millions. Sometimes you could do 30 a month, so you learn how to do gigs when you do so many.
Well, thank you very much for talking to us.
It was lovely talking.
And we look forward to seeing you again in the future.
All the best for the rest of the festivals.
It's your night pet, name on the sea. I called you, I'll carry it around inside of me.
And a very good report indeed. Tom McConville playing at the Oak last Wednesday the 30th. That was Carolina Scott, thanks to her for that. A very good gig. We are now next to the big purple cow.
It's big, it's purple, and it's upside down.
Indeed. It's on its back. Maybe it doesn't, it's trying to give us a hint saying, I don't want to listen to the angle, and it's gone off to sleep. I don't know. Very obscure. Silver, what's still to come up on this rip-roaring show?
Well, of course, we have the Royal Oak afloat on a boat. Indeed, yes, we also have David Ferrard, who's exploring his various routes and sort of both sides of the Atlantic in his show.
Inciting witchcraft.
And we also have the angle, Dave.
9 people die, someone's house is invaded.
I reckon it's about some kind of siege.
I have no idea. Dave, what is your angle done live from the streets of Edinburgh?
Well, it's not being done live from the streets of Edinburgh, but
you're going to angle it.
The angle this week is Edom, O'Gordon and Malinky.
It fell about the Martimas time, when the wind blew shrill and cold. Cried Edom O'Gordon to his men, we man draw to some halt. We told, cried his merry men, we told shall we gang to. It's the towers who's that we man ride and see yon fair lady. She thought it was her dear lord that she saw riding hame, but was the traitor Edom O'Gordon that Reckney sen our shame. Come down, Lady Campbell, he cried, and gie your house to me, or else this night I swear I'll burn ye and your bairnies three. When I come down, the lady cried, for laird nor yet for loon, nor yet for any rank robber that comes free off and down. The lady frae the battlements, 'twa bullet she let flee, but it missed its mark wi' Gordon, for it scarcely grazed his knee. Lady Campbell, the Gordon cried, that shot will cost ye dear, and he has caught his own jock to bring the faggots near. When I come down ye false Gordon, when I gie up to ye, when I forsake my own dear lord that is so far from me. Son sat on the nearest knee. Oh, open the door and let me out, for this reek is choking me. I would give up my gout, she cried, my cellar and my fee, for a blast o' the whistling wind to blow this reek frae me. Then little spark her daughter dear, she was both jimp and small. Oh, Rowdy hung a pair o' sheets and throw me o'er the wall. They round her in a pair o' sheets and threw her o'er the wall. But on the point o' the Gordon sword she got a deadly fall. Then Gordon turned her out and out, and no her face was white. A merry spared that bonny face to be some man's delight. baguette wi' stain and lime, and way for Lady Campbell herself, burnt wi' her bairnies 9. Oh, 3 o' them were married wives, and 3 o' them were bairns, and 3 o' them were leal maidens that na lay in young men's air.
And Uten spak her doctor dear, she was baith jimp and sma. I'm looking forward to hearing Dave's take on that. That was Malinke Edom O'Gordon from their album The Unseen Hours, released in 2005. Malinke will be appearing at St Bride's Acoustic Centre, venue 1, 2, 3 on the 14th of August. It's the Edinburgh Festival, and this is our first Edinburgh Festival special. We've moved to the Meadows, and we're just sitting in the grass. The sun is out, it's lovely. Dave, what's your angle?
Well, it starts off. I want you to imagine that it's Martinmas, and the wind's blowing.
What?
Martinmas.
What's Martinmas, Dave?
That's the feast of St Martin, also known as Martinmas, on the 11th of November.
Ah.
So it's cold and windy and horrible and snowy and wintry outside.
Is that like the feast of Stephen?
Yes.
From Good King Wenceslas, which is of course on the 26th.
It's
of
not
December.
a Christmas song.
Yeah.
We've covered that a long time ago.
Yes.
So carry on, Dave. What
and
happens?
Edom O'Gordon's out there with his men in the wind, and it's
Edom.
horrible. Aye.
Edom.
Or Edom, if you wish. It's up to you.
Edom.
And he's out there with his men, and he's saying to them, "Look, it's horrible outside." And they say, "Yeah, we know. We've got to find somewhere to hold up. You know, it's terrible out here." He says, "Well, where are we going to go? You know, what are we going to do?"
I would suggest, like, a nearby wood or a cottage.
Maybe the yew tree if there's one around.
Yeah, yew trees are great.
It was a good feature last week.
And he says, "I know what we'll do. We'll go to Towie's house. That's fine. That's Lord Campbell's house, and we'll hold up there. His woman will let us in. It'll all be fine."
Right, weather's bad, they take shelter. Someone's
Yeah.
house. Okay.
So they get to the house, and they're up there, and the lady sees them coming round the hill, and she thinks it's her man coming back home, but it's actually
Frank, it's an outdoor angle, it's crazy.
It is. We're on the meadows. The sun's out, and such a nice angle.
It is.
And it's Edom of Gordon, and he comes up and he says, "Let me in. You know, I'm coming in. There's nothing you can do about it. You've got to give me the use of your house. My men are cold.
You're awfully quiet, Silver.
That's what we're having."
I'm just soaking up the festival atmosphere here.
Then he says, "If you don't give me the use of your house, I'm going to burn it down."
Right. So
Hold
that's
on.
a little harsh.
Yeah.
And we're beginning to see where possibly one of your hints is going to come in here.
I would like to point out a slight flaw in Edom's plan here. Surely, if he burns the castle down, he won't have anywhere to shelter anyway.
Yeah, actually,
No, but they'll have a
the whole
lovely
song's
big-
void.
They'll have a lovely big
might
fire
as
to
well
warm
stop here.
themselves next to, so it'll be okay in the end.
Won't be a lovely fire.
But for the loss of what, David? At the expense of what?
He's not just going to burn the house down, he's going to burn it down with her and her children in it.
That's nice.
Yeah, but she says
She
no.
had 8 children, perhaps.
The wind's
Well,
picking up.
it says at the moment that she's only got the 3 at
In
the moment.
keeping with the
but,
mood.
she says no chance. I'm not coming down. I'm not coming down for you. I wouldn't come down for a robber or anyone like that. I'd
Clearly
only come
before
down
the,
for my man. I'd only
introduction
let
of
him
travel
in.
lodges.
So it's quite obvious that you wouldn't go down to let a robber into your house, Dave. That's
Silver, would you burn a
barely-
travel lodge if they wouldn't let you in?
No.
No, well, I suppose none of us really want to incite arson.
But anyway, he's trying to force his way in, and she's saying she's having none of it. So she goes up to the battlements, and she takes out her gun and she fires a couple of bullets down, but she completely misses. Unfortunately, she just kind of.
Is it she only have
grazes-
2 bullets?
She's only got the 2 in the gun at the time. She just kind of grazes him on the
nifty.
knee. And he says, "Oh, you shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have shot at me. That's gonna cause you problems now." And he sends his man off.
Did he actually say that? You
shouldn't have done that.
Gonna cause you some bother. This is.
Don't want to mess with me. So he sends his man off to get some faggots, and so they light the fire. And she says, "No, I'm still
okay.
nothing's doing here. I'm not giving up my giving
I
up
was in
my
a festival
silver,
mood.
my gold, any of that kind of thing. No, I'm staying here. You're not getting in. I'm not giving in to you, even if you're burning down my house, even if I'm going to die in here." And then her daughter comes and says, "Well, hold on a second, I want to get out too. Roll me up in some sheets and throw me over the wall. They'll never notice me. They roll her up, they throw her over the wall.
I think. Well, they need a lot of sheets.
Well, not only do they notice her, but she lands straight on Gordon's sword and gets killed by that.
Was that like by coincidence, or did he see her come in and go, "Oh, I got a chance to stick my sword up here"?
Well, it kind of seems to suggest that it was just a really, really bad throw.
Does this come up in the moral later? You know, the sort of idea of sort of abandoning your burning house by jumping out of a window will make you end up landing on someone's. No, sorry, I continue.
What did you just say, Silver?
Basically,
soaked up too much of the festival atmosphere, I think.
Basically, Gordon's there, and he's burnt the house down, and he's burnt down with Lady
Eden O'Gordon,
with her three daughters who are married, and her three young children, and another three young
Dave,
girls.
this is a miserable angle.
And he has a girl kebab as well.
Yes, he does.
So
it's pretty much downhill.
Pretty much what it's going to be, isn't it? When she falls on a sword, and that's what do you think, Jack? Would you rather burn alive or be pierced on a sword after falling from a great height?
Depends where I was pierced.
Good point, actually.
Instant death
through the foot
would be awful.
Imagine if you got pierced through the foot.
This is too dark, Dave. It's festival. We're sitting on the meadows. It's a nice day.
Is there a moral to this?
There is, yeah. Essentially, the moral is
feed us it.
Don't be too proud, because if you staunchly refuse to quit to people who are quite clearly going to overpower you, in this case by burning your house down.
Yeah.
Just give in eventually.
So the moral is give in to nutters at all times.
Well, no. Give in to nutters if it's like the lives of your family are at stake.
Anyway, that's the moral.
Is that, Dave? Is that your angle?
It is, yeah.
I'm standing outside the Royal Oak on Infirmary Street after the opening night of David Ferrard's Folk Roots and Offshoots, Scottish Folk Roots and Offshoots, sorry. I'm joined by David now after a fantastic first night. How did you feel it went?
The first time you do a show of pretty much brand new material for me, I'm pretty nervous, but there were some very nice audience members. It was an international audience, a few tourists, a few locals, and the Oak is always a lovely place to play. It's intimate, so you can create a nice rapport with the audience. So I was very pleased that people sang along with the material, and it's just a nice hour for me to explore my own Scottish and American roots through song with an audience. So I was pleased.
That to me seemed like, cause, I mean, I'm more used to seeing you in a sort of political setting. It's usually much more kind of political songs or anti-war stuff and so on, whereas this was a more kind of historical journey, if you like, through Scottish history, intermingled with the history of people travelling over to America and so on. Throughout the show, we talked about the divisions between Scotland and England. You incited witchcraft at one point as well. What was the thinking behind creating such a show?
Partly it's for me just to kind of learn new songs that kind of interest me and around themes that interest me. So there's the witchcraft theme that you alluded to, and also I do a song about whaling and a song about emigration to the United States. So just kind of big themes in a way in Scottish history. You could explain to someone kind of in textbook style, but if you illustrate it with songs, I think it makes it that much more interesting.
It might seem strange, some people listening who don't know you be saying, hang on a minute, Scottish Folk Roots and Offshoots, this guy sounds American. Can we clear up once and for all? I mean, you are Scottish, but there's American roots there.
That's right. I was born in Edinburgh and brought up here, but my mum's from the States, so I kind of picked up her twang along the way. So that's what the show is a kind of combination of mostly Scottish, but a bit of American music, and also looking at themes of kind of emigration and exile, and so connecting the two continents. For me, I kind of feel like I should take advantage of the fact that I have this kind of confusing accent and base a show around it.
Do you want to just give a shout out to when it's on, dates and times?
Runs pretty much throughout the whole of August. It's called Scottish Folk Roots and Offshoots. It's at the Royal Oak on Infirmary Street. It's mostly at 6:30, although there are a few days when it's on at 1:30. So please do come along and sit with me and sing along with me for an hour.
Thanks so much for joining us on the Garden Sessions, David Ferrard.
Thank you.
John Anderson, my Joe, John, when we were first acquaint, your locks were like the raven, your bonny brow was brent. But now your brow is bell, John, your locks are like the snow. But blessings on your frosty paw, John Anderson, my Joe.
John Anderson, my Joe John, we climb the hill together, and a many a canty day, John, we ain't another. Now we mun totter down, John, and hand in hand we'll go, and sleep together at the foot. John Anderson, my Joe.
That's David Ferrard, and the song you heard there was John Anderson, my Joe, from his Scottish Folk Roots and Offshoots show at the Oak. And you get more information on that if you missed any of what David said there at davidferrard.com. We are on the Royal Mile right now. It's Edinburgh Festival. It's our first festival show. You listen to the Garden Sessions, gardensessions.co.uk. Contact us at podcast@gardensessions.co.uk. And that's appropriate because it's time for
Garden Sessions Letters Back.
Frank, I think you've got the first letter there.
I do. Well, we've managed to find a spot far enough away from a street performer brandishing a whip. So he was looking.
They're everywhere.
He was eyeing up Dave, but we've managed to take shelter behind some phone boxes, and we have a letter here from Tom. In New Zealand, obviously. The yew tree feature has to be one of the very best the Garden Sessions has ever produced. I can't wait to seek it out myself on my return to Scotland. Jack, look out for my own personal quest for the best pint of Guinness in New Zealand, which should currently be winging its way towards you.
So. We haven't received that as yet, but we're looking forward to that, Tom. There, as we said before, there's no Folk Odyssey this week 'cause it's festival. There's a load of Oriental dancers that have just kind of weaved their way past us. But with that in mind, Silver, you've got a next letter there.
I do. I have a letter from Adam, our very own steel melter's son. He's at the Oak, as he usually is. Some fantastic new artists. Up, guys. Good to see Mr. Lothian upping the amount of Royal Oak bar staff on the website. Just need Claire, Callum, Robin, Wes and Grant now. Well, you never know. You could have a whole show devoted to bar staff. Yes, we could. On another note, though, Jack, so much new music and still no change in the Arrows tracks. You sure know how to take your time. What does that mean, Jack?
He wants his music changed. We'll get it done at some point. That's a nice little in comments there for anyone who knows the Royal Oak and his bar stuff. Won't mean much to anyone else, though. Dave, here we are on the mile, and you have another letter.
Yes, this is in response to Tom's comment of last week about Leith FM's blurb about the Garden Sessions. It's from the Rev in the Highlands. It says, I remember Percy Thrower well. He was a likeable sort of chap, but very boring indeed, unlike our folk at the Garden Sessions who are not boring at all. Love the Rev.
Cheers to the Rev. That was the gardener guy, wasn't it?
It was. Sorry, I'm just a bit distracted by an enormous unicycle.
That is a huge unicycle.
Absolutely enormous.
He's not cycling on it, though.
How's he going to get on it? You're going to need some kind of step ladder.
I've got a unicycle.
You would? Do you ever use it?
I tried for about 2 weeks and managed to get 3 metres.
Next week you are doing the angle on while cycling on unicycle. You'll fit right in here, Dave.
We'll get a photograph of it for the website.
And you'll fit right
relevant as this all this is to the folk music scene in Scotland, Jack.
You're listening to the Garden Sessions. If you want to contact us on the letters bag, podcast@gardensessions.co.uk, or Frank, you can
put your letters on the forum, which is about halfway down the main page of the website.
gardensessions.co.uk/feedback, I believe. Yes, anyway, what is coming up next? I think, Silver, you should probably introduce this. This is all very exciting. We heard a little bit about it in the news earlier on.
Well, yes, if you ever wondered what happened when you take a group of drunk folk musicians on a boat in a sort of very busy,
scathing kind of
very busy canal, you'll find out now.
Well, you join me now. I'm on a canal boat in the back of Cargo at Edinburgh's West End. This is for the Royal Oak album launch. It is the 2nd of August 2008, and it's time to get nautical.
Joined by Jamie at the front of the boat now, and we've just had a rendition of some very strange looking pipes. I'll not try and describe, I'll let Jamie do that. What's the story behind them?
Well, back before breeding of domestic animals got to the extent where they could herd sheep and goats with dogs, you used to play music to keep them in order. and this is a standard instrument, a goat herder's bagpipe.
It's white. I mean, this is goat.
It's an entire goat skin. It's turned inside out. The hair's on the inside because it's stronger that way.
This is obviously launch for the Royal Oak album. What importance do you feel the Royal Oak plays in traditional music scene?
I think it's vitally important. It's one of the few places I play very often in private concerts, so to speak, for the most part, very rarely public ones. I can come for a drink afterward and maybe sing a song or take my instrument out and play it and not feel that I'm having to break into a clique or anything like that. It's just I think the sessions at the Oak are more like the ones that I knew as a country boy, where it's very inclusive. And also singing, of course, which is a major part of it. There doesn't seem to be any other ones that have singing on a regular basis.
Dave, what are we sitting on? What is happening?
We're sitting on the bow of the boat. We're moving along the canal, sitting on the port side, the left-hand side. Starboard, of course, being the right because of the ancient Viking steerboard, which was always on the right-hand side of the boat. Because when
Dave, I want you to stop talking. It's the Royal Oak album launch on the Union Canal. How exciting!
It's not windy.
It has got windy, but it's very, very sunny. I can tell you that. I'm joined here by Ivor Burney of the Oak. Ivor, you've come along. It's a lovely day. How are you finding it so far? We've only just taken up.
I'll find out later on once I've had a few more of these cans.
In Yorkshire's pride of Sheffield, we worked all day for little pay. In Huntsman's crucible works, my father was in charge of veterans burning fires of hell.
Multiple number one Adam Bradshaw of the Arrows singing his we've just hit something, singing his big hit. Sorry, I'm a bit confused because we did just hit something. I'm joined by Alan Hunter.
Don't panic, Jack, don't panic.
The mood is amazing.
It's ebullient.
I'm considering going back out onto the poop deck. I know that's not what it's called, but
poop deck seems fair to me.
I'm going to call it
yourself, you know, it seems appropriate.
Family show, Alan, family show.
Sorry, Jack, won't happen again. Well, it might.
And we'll all go together to have fried egg and chips when we're down there in Marbella. Will you go, shabby go?
Hey, any chance of another one of these sangrias?
By unclear.
Aye.
And Chris.
Where's the salt and pepper, by the way?
It's all gone a wee bit pear-shaped, I think. Frank, what's happening here?
Basically, I think we've all been on the canal boat a little too long. A confined space, lots of booze. And
how can we get off this boat is what I'm wondering.
Well, basically...
Where's the exit?
Well, we're going to have to wait another half an hour till we dock back at Fountain Bridge, but I think Caroline is actually about to abuse Hunter here. It's a mess. It's a mess. Alan is there nursing a Guinness. We've got Caroline thrashing a guitar.
Two people jogging outside.
They're jogging
faster than the boat.
They're not aware of the debacle that is happening on board. But I can tell you now that things are livening up, and I can pretty much guarantee that we're going to see violence before the end of the trip.
Guarantee? That is a guarantee.
It was a bold statement, but I'm sticking by it.
Well, there you have, folks. That's a guarantee from Frank Burkitt, our newsman. There will be violence on this boat before the day is out.
That's not the rudder, that's Alan Hunter.
Frank.
No, it was. I just had to say it was so low.
Zing is the word. That was a hell of an afternoon, though.
It was a hell of an afternoon. Really, really unexpected as well. We didn't really expect such a...
We didn't expect the barge to move.
No, we expected it to be docked at Fountain Bridge and just a couple of hours of tunes and then that was it. But there was our buffet laid out, some booze, then a big trip up the canal and back. It was a fantastic afternoon.
It was very nice. Lovely day. Silver?
We did only get as far as Wester Hales, though.
Yes, well, we didn't mention that. You know, you can picture it.
It was majestic nonetheless.
It was.
I actually drove the boat as well and didn't crash once.
That's not entirely true. You steered the boat with the help of the skipper.
Yeah, it was... Yeah, I've got a picture on my phone, Dave, so, you know, it was more like you were pretending and the captain was actually doing it.
And let's not forget what we were discussing before, Dave. Unicycle, next week's show, photograph on the website. Are you going to do it? Are you up for that?
Well, no, I can't. I know I can't do it.
Why do you want a unicycle?
Well, it was a whim that didn't really go as well as planned.
Sounds like a lot of
So
your
it's
purchases, Dave.
Just gathering dust.
Well, by next week, learn how to ride it.
I shall try.
There you go. That's a guarantee from Dave that we'll have a photograph of him on a unicycle, even if Silver has to hold him up. But yes, anyway.
Well, it could happen. But I think one of Dave's guarantees, you know, is probably worth its weight in feathers.
Podcast. Ah, and it's that time again. Even out here on the Royal Mile.
Does that mean we have to leave the Mile, Jack, or can we still stay here and soak up more of the atmosphere?
I'd love to stay. I really, really would. But
there's more folk
that isn't on the Mile.
Silver, tell us what is coming up.
Well, yeah, the St. Bride's Centre, of course, is very much the place to be.
He's jumping.
Other than, of course, the Royal Oak. Those are the two places to be, and we shall be there in body and in spirit.
There's a guy doing a puppet show over there, Silver. Do you want to have a look at that?
No.
Does that sound up your street?
We'll have Def Shepherd next week, Burak, Brecon Wilkinson Martin, Bert Jansch,
what a lineup.
Andy McNee and Don Ross.
And gardensessions.co.uk if you want to see our sort of pics of what's coming up over the festival as well. Dave, you've got some stuff there. What's happening at the Oak, Festival Folk at the Oak this coming week?
Well, of course, that list from Silver was just St. Bride's. The Oak has some fantastic stuff, as you'll have heard about from Paddy, but we'll certainly be covering the Doghouse Roses, which Silver went to see the other day. Jim Malcolm. I'm going to see John Malcolm and Stuart McCarty tonight. There's all sorts of things going on at the Oak, and as I say, Paddy will have told you about them earlier in the show.
How exciting. Well, that brings us to the end of our first festival special on the streets of Edinburgh, and we'll go off and have a pint in the setting of this wonderful, the largest arts festival in the world. So till next week, we'll be back on the streets of Edinburgh for Garden Sessions, gardensessions.co.uk, contest at podcast@gardensessions.co.uk. For myself, Jack Foster, Frank Burkitt, Chris Silver and Dave Engels Gimble, take it easy.
Bye, bye, bye.
Good night.
Cheerio.
Mm-hmm.